Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is your host, Brandy J, with Voices of Courage. Today, I have with me an amazing guest by the name of Clarissa Burt. She is an internationally acclaimed media personality, author, director, producer, all that, and then some. She's like just, superwoman.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you.
Yes, and if she's looking familiar, that's because she is the winner of the
Survivor.
Celebrity Survivor and the
Mhm.
Never Ending Story too. Now I have to go back and watch that so I can be like,
Right.
oh.
I know. Well, I'm also chief cook and bottle washer, so we do everything. You know how we do. We do everything, right?
Right, everything, and we don't get the credit for it still.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm so happy to have you here because you also you've had uh your book since 221. It's basically like a manual, the regime.
Self-esteem regime.
Yay.
Here it is, right there.
Yes,
My
yes,
pleasure.
yes. And this is such an amazing topic. Welcome to the show, Clarissa. And how are
Thanks.
you
Thank
today?
you. All is well. It's very busy, it's super hectic, but I love it that way. It just the day goes quickly, and you always feel so productive at the end of it. So it's all good.
That's my favorite word, productive.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you definitely are someone that, through like all the stuff that you're in the public eye. And so with self-esteem, this is like a really great topic. And I want to ask you, did a lot of so why the book and why self-esteem plays such a major part in
Yeah.
what you do?
Yeah, thanks. Why the book is because I've seen so many, especially women, starting with my mother who, she just didn't think she was pretty enough for a picture to be taken, and my grandmother who was beautiful and she just thought she had to lose weight and she didn't. And she took 2 diet pills one day and she perforated her esophagus and was in the hospital for 6 weeks. And then I worked with some of the most beautiful women on the planet when I was modeling, and I saw that they were in toxic relationships, or they were doing drugs, or they just weren't very good and kind to themselves. So I saw, as I was growing through this lifetime, so many similarities, and people, especially women mostly, but not only, that were having issues with self-esteem. And I thought, wow, there's really something here. There's something to this. I think that the book is dropping at a perfect time because the last 2 years, as you know, have been years of loss. So loss of faith, loss of hope, loss of family, loss of friends, loss of money, loss of jobs, just not everyone, but, loss of identity. Who are we? What's going on politically? Like all this stuff going on. It's destabilizing. And so what I think is happening, with the perfect divine timing of the dropping of the book, is that this is a time for us to regroup and read something that is going to give us the 12, well, these are 12, it's a 12-step program. No, there are 12 chapters in the book we start with release. And so, the greatest place to start is, what is it we have to release? What is it we have to let go? And then we can start afresh and anew with where it is we want to go. The most important thing that we can do is to remain what I call strong in your stead. So when life is hurricaning around you, you're immovable, you're unstoppable, and you're still limitless in all of the possibilities that are coming at you. You can see them clearly, while all the rest of the clutter is going on around you. Life is life, and it ebbs and flows, and it's going to come and go, and things are going to trigger you, and certainly it's not always an easy place to be. But with good, happy, healthy self-esteem and good tools and resources that you can call upon, then it makes it just so much easier for you to be able to, again, navigate this thing called life. I mean, we've got, I've had changes in a love relationship, changes in family relationships, a death in the family. A friend of mine that wanted to commit suicide. There's all these things happening around us. And whereas they can make us very sad, we have to also know that we did everything we possibly could to be the best version of us and come to the table with our truth. Let me leave it at that, with our truth.
I like that. The truth. You make it okay to not be okay. Like, don't beat yourself up. Like, these things are very heavy things, like everything you just said. Like, we were put in this, and then we were never given a break. It was like, now go back outside. Now do this. And no one ever said, hey, you guys lost people. You didn't get to go to the hospital and be with them. Some things that sound darn near inhumane, that you can't be with your loved ones when they're sick. And no one is really sitting back and thinking about what the toll it's taken on our mental health, and that we can't really make great decisions when we're just
toll that it's been taken on our mental health. And self-esteem is indeed happy, healthy mental health. You nailed it on the head. My thought is that when your feet hit the ground in the morning, you need to be living in happy, healthy self-esteem. You need to be feeling pretty good about yourself, because if you don't, you're going to have a very bad relationship with yourself and certainly with others. The other thing that I talk about frequently are the daily demons. You know, those ones that are in this ear all the time, and they've got something to say, and they're going to hold you back and leave you again, have you living in fear and uncertainty and, being afraid. No. Stop already. Stop. Right. I spent personally a lot of time in my lifetime living in fear and not moving forward. Well, there's time wasted. What good did that do me? There's always, the possibility. There's a fork in the road, and you can go down the fear and keep yourself coward and hide and not think about, or you can just face things head on and know that, it's going to be scary and live through the fear all the same. People are always so afraid of failing. Yeah. Right. So if I go down that road and I fail, what if I fail? Well, what if fail means first attempt in learning? Right? Failing means you're learning, right? It doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that, you get back up, you try another way. Einstein didn't come up with the light bulb the first time. Ford didn't come up with the perfect car the first time. There are going to be failures. Put that on the for sure list, because that's not changing. Right? There are always going to be failures. So what? Get up, dust yourself off, put on your big girl britches, keep moving. There's not, tomorrow isn't promised, and so just do it. And that's why I call this a regime, because first of all, a regime is an organized way of doing things. And I love organization. If I can cut this down into 12 bite-sized pieces for you and have you do the work in here, it's going to make it easier for you to do some very difficult work. But a regime also means do it. It's an organized way. Do it. Get up. It's like a diet. When you say a dietary regime or a regimen, a regime, it's kind of the same version of two words, but the same kind of feel. You want to be able to be sure that you're just keep on keeping on. Keep on with your regime. Make sure that that you have got to continue to work on yourself, that nobody's going to do the work for you, that you need to be leveling up. You need to be raising your vibrations. And that only in that way are you going to be the better person and the best you that you can be for everyone else in your life, apart from yourself.
Yeah, I love everything you just said. It's so like, yes, I truly believe that. And you said something, about just the fears and, the things that we allow to hold us back. And the only thing that's really in our way is ourselves, because if these things are up against us, then that should make you just want to live the best way that you can and be the best person that you can be. Yeah. Just for that reason alone, because tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah. Well, you have to advocate for yourself, right? You are your own best advocate, because no one else is really going to do it for you. Right. And if, it was something I love that Will Smith said in an interview one time. And it was like, we're always seeking approval from everybody else for our own self-esteem. It's self-esteem. It's self-esteem. Why are we looking outside of ourselves for approval?
Yes, definitely.
And let me tell you, the approval that you may or may not get from outside may not always be in your best interest. The words that you will hear may not always be the ones you need to hear. You know, your natal tribe has imparted a whole year's worth of information on you. You know, your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, the pastor, whomever it may be, priest, you know, and I'm not saying they were wrong. I'm saying some of the information that you received may not resonate with you.
Right.
And that means as you're moving forward, as you are educating yourself, as you are learning that there are other ways besides what you were taught, you're going to hurt some feelings. Somebody's nose is going to get out of joint, and somebody may be very offended. And what I will say to you is that you have got to create your own boundaries. With ease, joy, and glory, you create your own boundaries in a very soft way with very soft tones, right? Remembering always that the standards that you create and the boundaries that you create, they're not attitude. You go, oh, she's got all kinds of attitude now because, you know,
You stand up for yourself.
you know, no, you're leveling up. You want to be the best you. You want to learn different things. You want to expand. You want to grow. You want to, you know, live in a greater good. You want to breathe rare air. It's the way, you know, it's the way we grow into our truth.
Very much so. Oh, wow. You said a lot of things that I had like jotted down in notes and that you just like covered right now when you even spoke about how we seek for our self-approval or seek for our self-esteem in social media, other people. And I was going to ask you, do you believe that people have the wrong perception of self-esteem? Because, you know, a lot of people, I don't think self-esteem comes with being nasty to other people. I don't think, you know what I mean? I think self-esteem for yourself means you respect others because you respect yourself.
Self-esteem first means you respect and love yourself. That's the hardest nut for most people, is to have that self-respect and to have love for self. Okay. And sometimes, you know, when you're in a relationship with whomever it may be, if you are being disrespected, look, I can try once, I can try twice, I can try 3 times, I can even try 4 times to make it right with you. But if you continue to disrespect me, as I'm telling you, listen, here's a boundary. What you just said it didn't make me feel good, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me please explain it to you. And you continue to do that, or some semblance of something that looks or feels similar to me, I'm going to, I'm going to conclude that you don't care, or that it's not important to you. What is important to me isn't important to you, which means you don't have to be out of my life. I just will shift you a little bit into a different place, and I will then know what I can and cannot expect from you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's definitely when people get disgruntled with you. And that's something else I wrote down too. It's like people, like when you have self-esteem and it comes with a lot of comfort, it's not really something you're really trying to do. It's just who you are. And then people seem to get a little, you know, they call them the haters. Like, oh, she's so comfortable with herself, you know. I don't like it, but it's like, you know, like even with bullying and all that stuff too. I feel like that's when someone doesn't really like themselves, then they take it out on that person that, you know, that good person, that person
that's exactly right.
Nasty. You want to
put
that onto them.
You know, the other thing we have to be really careful about also is social media, because I say frequently, self-esteem 101. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else.
Right.
Stop comparing yourself to the prettier girl or the smarter person or the richer guy, or somebody is always going to, my mother told me once, somebody is always going to be better than you and worse than you. Worse in the sense that they may not have as much money, or they may not be as smart as you, but there's going to be somebody that's got a lot more money and you'd be smarter than you. It's just the way of the world. It's the way it is. But, you know, do you really want to walk a mile in someone else's shoes? Because some of the people, let's look at Steve Jobs, had all the money in the world, but it couldn't save him from cancer.
Right.
So do you really want to be someone else? Do you really? Or can you emulate someone else? You know, I would love to be Oprah, but I'm not. And so I would love to, so I'd love to emulate her and watch how she's working and listen to the words she's using and what are the lessons that she's imparting on us. And that's what makes me better, but it doesn't make me Oprah. And that's okay.
Right. Most definitely. I tell people, like, you don't have to compete with anybody but yourself.
Yep.
And no one can be you better than you. And so you're basically your own competition. And that's how you should be trying to better yourself every day.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, most definitely. So that being said, so with self-esteem, what would you say it takes? Because I tend to believe that it really is embedded in us, but our parents aren't perfect. We're indoctrinated. Things get passed down. Then you try to change what you try not to do the same things. But when you say in the home growing up, that's usually your parents or how you're raised usually gives you that, builds you up. Because that's how I feel. And that's how I was raised with my mother and my father.
Yeah.
So I always thought I was the greatest thing going, but not in like a conceited type of way. You just couldn't tell me that something was wrong with me or break me down because mom and dad said something different.
That's awesome. Well, not everyone has that luxury, and not everyone has that, which is another reason why when I talk about in the book, I talk about the importance of relationships and creating your own support system. In other words, as we know, we don't get to choose who our parents are going to be, our brothers, our sisters and siblings. We don't get to choose our natal tribe, but we get to choose who we surround ourselves with. And that is where, they say, you've heard it before, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are.
Yeah.
No truer words, I think, have ever been spoken. So I really like to surround myself with people that are beating from the heart, that are good people, that are leveling up, that are helping others. And we're not saints. We're not, we can't save the world, but we can try, try. And I think my main goal is always to be a better person tomorrow than I am today. And always, consistently be working on myself.
Yeah.
Because, we're always a work in progress, right? It's not something that, it's on self-esteem. You don't go, oh, wow, great, man, I read Clarissa's book. I'm now 100% has self-esteem and I'm good. Yeah, no. Self-esteem, as I said before, it ebbs and flows. It comes and goes. Life's going to trigger you, I'm not going to say on the daily, but kind of a lot in our lifetime, we're going to get triggered. Somebody's going to cut us off in traffic or whatever, they're not going to hold the elevator door for us and we might get annoyed. All the little stuff that really doesn't mean anything, but okay. It's just self-esteem is one of those kind of things that, look, you're going to live purposefully. You're going to learn about self-responsibility. What are you responsible for? What have you taken responsibility for in your life? And where have you not? This is great. Where have you not taken responsibility in your life? If I had to stop this video right now and give everybody 5 minutes to think about this, where are you not taking responsibility that you should? So that's what I say when you get a deeper dive into this book. It's an easy read, but the work is not going to be always comfortable. This is when I say that my book is really, it's more of a resource than a read, right? It's a manual, but for me, this is really more of a mission and a movement. Because I'm going to be happy when I see people everywhere living with really happy, healthy self-esteem. Can you imagine a world of people just feeling really good about themselves? What would happen? How things would change? Just think about that for a minute. If everybody read this and went, "Damn, I'm feeling pretty good about myself,"
right? Half the stuff going on, we wouldn't have to do it.
Right. Think about it.
They love themselves and they love others.
Yeah. So people go, self-esteem, no big deal. Well, it's the biggest deal of all. If self-esteem it's like when you go to somebody's website and it says start here, start here, start with your self-esteem, because everything turns around, everything works around your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just does.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Wow. So with your manual, would you say it's for, which it sounds like it's for men and
And
women?
women. Oh, yeah.
Could be
You know,
implemented.
I was in Barnes and Noble recently. I was doing a book signing, and I had a little 11-year-old girl come up, and she had another book in her hand, right? She had another book, and she had come up with her mom. And I was, hello, and what's your name? And we talked, and she was, how old are you? I'm 11. Her mother says she's 11. And the little girl goes, yeah, I mean, I'm almost 12. You know, I remember those days. And I went, oh, almost 12. Well, all right then. So we started talking. And I gave her the, you know, the whole, like I said to you before, the self-esteem 101, don't compare yourself to everybody because anyone else. Because you remember in school when you were 11 and you're like looking around going, oh, well, she's got bigger boobs and she's got better legs and she's really pretty and all the boys like her, and, you know, that kind of thing. And I did the 101, you know, the 101 speech on her and said, don't ever. I said, if you don't take anything away from listening to me today, you take this away. Don't ever compare yourself ever, 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 ever to anyone else. And her mother's going, you see, what did I tell you? What have I said all along? And the little girl's looking at me and she's shaking her head. And I said, because would you want to be the person that is, you know, has whatever, she's, what did I say? She's prettier or she's, you know, better at sports or whatever it is. But then know that, you know, whatever I said, you know, she's going to get sick one day, just like the Steve Jobs analogy, right? Would you really then want to be her? So I put it in a way that I made her feel, damn, I'm like really lucky to be, you are lucky to be you. You are, you know, look, we were created, you can call it what you want. It's divine, it's source, it's God, it's Allah, it's Buddha, it's Krishna. I don't care what you call it. Right? Whatever it is, divine and source and the universe knew exactly what they were doing when you were conceived, when you were created, you know, and you are, I'm going to go with, you might be all that in a bag of chips, but I don't know that you can be putting yourself up against, you know, universal universe, you know, just knew what they were doing. Let it go. Be the best you and let the universe let the divine source, let God, let Buddha, let whomever you want to pray to, whomever you know resonates with your faith, let them work about you. Just be you.
Be you, yeah. Nobody else. That is so true. I love that you said that about, you know, being you, because if you were supposed to be anybody else, you would have been that person. You were created like you, no one else was. And that's all you have to do is just be you.
Remember that you are limitless. There are no limits. We've seen this in many different examples along the way in our lifetime. We can look around and see people that, you know, are handicapped, disabled, paraplegic. I mean, they have Olympics around people that don't have all four limbs, and they're still champions, none the same. Remember that you are limitless and that you can still see yourself as flawed because we are all imperfect, but you can still hold yourself in high regard.
Yeah.
Yes, I made that mistake, but it was a learning moment for me. It was a teaching moment for me. I learned something, but I still am really all that and a bag of chips.
Right.
And that doesn't mean conceited. It means you're feeling really good about who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Those flaws, you know, that we have, that I think makes us special because they keep us intact with our, you know, humanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So
absolutely.
I totally love that. I'm loving this. I'm like, I need that book.
Yeah, thanks.
I totally get it, you know, and I was someone that I went through these things like growing up in high school and stuff where people did try me, you know, and I noticed like later, but I didn't see it because I'm like, you know, I'm cool. I'm like, I'm good. Like that, those things didn't affect me because I didn't carry that stuff within me and I liked me, you know, but I've had my moments where, especially in this world, and then as a woman and being against, you know, things will trigger you, but you just got to remind yourself, like you said, support system, and just remember.
Absolutely. And expect that good things are going to happen to you. Expect miracles. When you start doing this kind of work and you take a deeper dive in yourself and get all that uck out, just get it out of there, and you start building on yourself on a really good, strong foundation, you're going to see some miracles happen in your life. And as I said before, expect the greatest things. Know that you're supposed to be feeling good. You're supposed to be loved. You are expected to live in a peaceful home.
Right.
That's your birthright. And if you're not, as a child, obviously we have to wait until we can get to where, when we can get out of the house. But once you're out of that house, it's on you to create a peaceful place for you to be, a peaceful place for you to land. I also collaborate with domesticshelters.org. I speak of them frequently, and this is a place where it's an organization, a national organization that works with women and children that are in distressed situations with domestic violence, and I often, talk to the organization. We put out some videos just so that we can help women get out of these situations. I mean, there's a plan for that too. And if you really want out, if you really want to break the ties, there's a blueprint. There's a blueprint for that, So just know that even if you're in the deepest and the darkest and you just don't know how you're going to get out, there's always a way. There is always a way. Start by reading this. Start by reading all self-help. It doesn't have to be this, my book, The Self-Esteem Regime, but it can be any. Start reading self-help. Start reading things that are going to start elevating your consciousness, and expect the miracles then.
Yes. Oh man, I'm just loving all of this because to me, it makes sense because I get kind of crap for my sensitivity and positivity, and they say you can't change somewhere else, and it's like, yeah, I know that, but it doesn't mean
but
I
can
shouldn't
try.
Thank God people before us, all of them didn't think that, because clearly change could be made because we're not in the same conditions and positions that we 400 years ago, however many years ago.
Yeah.
We are regressing a little bit here. You would think there'd be more progress, but there has been change, but it starts with.
We need to stay strong in our stead. We need to stay strong in our stead, firmly rooted. Let everybody else do what they're going to do. You just keep focused and continue to do what you're going to do. And it looks like to me that you are doing amazing things by putting out videos like this with information like this so that we can raise the vibration for those that are listening, right? The other thing that I like to talk about is education. Continually educate yourself. I don't care what it is. Sometimes I just go to Udemy and I buy a $9.99 course and I'm learning something else for my business. Right? I'm learning for my business, or I'm picking up a book, or I'm speaking to people like you. Constantly be learning. But one of the most important things about learning is, what do you need to unlearn? What do you need to unlearn? What have you been taught? What has been shoved down your throat? What is it they will have you believe? What is it that you firmly believe, but it's not working for you?
We got to question our own belief system.
Right.
We've been indoctrinated.
Unlearn.
Yeah.
What do you need to unlearn? I mean, if you can sit down for 20 minutes and just write that list, you're already on your way. As I said before, it's an easy read, but the work is not. I have a mastermind, and in my mastermind, the women come and they're reading a chapter every session we get together. And I will promise you, there's never a dry eye. There's always someone having a breakthrough, always someone that, I had one of the women said, Clarissa, this book has changed my life. And she says it every time. I'm telling you, this book is changing my life. And I'm so exalted when I hear these things, because I know that I wrote the book for everyone, but it's landing where it needs to land right now. And again, if you read this book today, you're going to get something different in 6 months' time. Read it again in 6 months, and it's going to be completely different. You're going to get a lesson in 6 months from this book you didn't remember reading the first time, because you weren't ready for it today. You're going to be ready for it in 6 months. Let the natural progression happen. Yeah. And trust the process. Trust yourself. trust the work, and trust the source that is making all this happen. You're listening to this video. You're listening to this interview for a reason.
Yes, that's true. You know, in my message box, and I was like, hey, I'm here for a reason. And I truly believe that, because this is exactly what I believe. And I think we have more power and control than we know. And we give it all to this world, this worldliness, and they know. It's all a distraction to keep us away from our greatness. We have so much more control to be more compassionate, empathetic, and to change, to do something. What hard is to come together and do the greater good for humanity, for our children? What's so hard about it?
Yeah. Well, life is life, and it will throw you some things, and not everybody handles things in the same way. So everyone's going to get a different experience from this book. But I do say, continue to advocate for yourself. Do you want to continue to be somebody's doormat?
Exactly.
Do you want to continue to live in an unpeaceful home? Do you want to be continually disrespected? Do you want to live in guilt and shame? And no, I can't even pick up my book and start feeling good, really good about yourself. Yes. It is possible. You are limitless. And I really cannot wait to hear some of the overcoming stories and some of the triumphant stories that you will come back to me with after you read the book.
I'm so excited. Yes. And to share it with others too. I know also that I wanted to hear more about you. There's a part in there where you talk about, I think it's the mirror.
Mirror work, mirror therapy.
Can you explain
the mirror therapy was started by, that I know of. It goes, I picked it up first when I was reading Louise Hay's work, and then Jack Canfield, who is the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, used it in some of his works. And it's just an extremely powerful exercise. When you start to do the affirmations, because the book is affirmations, case studies, it's exercises, it's homework, it's all kinds of Clarissa's Corner, the Clarion Call. These are all really good nuggets that we are going to land on you and with you, so that you can continually learn. One of the things that I feel is the most important of the exercises is the mirror work. And again, when you stand with the affirmations that I've put in the book, or you can use your own, in front of a mirror, and you take a deeper dive into yourself through your own eyes, and you get deep into your soul, it is earth-shattering. It will move your world. I mean, get a tissue too sometimes. You just might need it. When you start driving into your head how much you love yourself, how much you respect yourself, how you forgive you for some of the things you've put up with, or that the mistakes that you've made that have hurt you, it goes deep. But what again it does, remember that as we do that work, we release. That's the first chapter. All of the releasing that needs to be done is really important. And self-care, self-care, self-care.
Yes, most definitely. Oh, this has been such an amazing month. Like everyone I've had, it's just, this is where 2022 is going for me, like you said, because the pandemic and everything. This is the time to uplift, empower, and build people back up. So most definitely, I truly believe that this is something that people need to read, need to hear, and we need to keep doing, like with social media and everything. Like I was going to ask you, when it comes to our children, right? Because I'm an advocate for bullying. I've been struggling getting people to truly support this cause, which I don't understand, because the suicide, this latest incident, I was a teacher for 9.5 years, watched my son be bullied, took him out of that school, administrator did nothing, to go be assaulted at the other school. They did nothing. And I just had it. And I talked to people all over the world, and they had the same narrative. But the one thing that I'm starting to truly notice is that people they say they know they're indoctrinated, but we do the same thing again, is we have to start pulling our children away from social media and the internet, and you would pick up sticks and marbles and all that stuff, and like send them outside and find, it's up to us to find things that they're interested in.
Yes. And outside. Remember outside? Outside was such a phenomenal place to be.
Yes, we want to come inside.
Outside. Yes.
Street
Yes. Get
lights,
them
you better be
out.
inside.
Get them out.
Can't get them. They don't even want to go outside anymore. It's crazy to me. But I find that to be like social media, like the number one issue when it comes to the bullying, the self-esteem, and all that. Because you're comparing, you're hearing all this negativity more than you hear positive, and that's why I try to do positive and uplift people. When I do any type of hosting or broadcasting or anything, but don't just throw the iPad in front of them because there's subliminals, there's things, you know what I mean, that you don't even know yourself that are being
Yeah, I
indoctrinated.
agree. I totally agree. Yeah, get them outside and give them limited time, especially in the younger years on the devices, I think is really the most important. I would, I'm not a parent, but it's what I would do if I did have children. But I'd like to think that right now, the book is a place where even the younger kids,
Oh yes,
especially younger girls, would be able to read it and get something from it, for
most
sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Because it's like it's hard. Like I read something somewhere. I think Instagram was at the top of the list for a lot of self-esteem, even some suicide attempts and things like that. And I just it really concerns me because it's taken away from the connecting and knowing how to communicate and human interactions.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know that we can reach a lot of people with this kind of messaging, and I'm not I'm here. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to do this work because I see when I'm speaking to people and I'm doing these interviews how the kind of relief I think that I'm perceiving from people going, yeah, they're kind of going, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that part of myself, or I forgot that's true. I forgot that that's my birthright. I forgot that I should be expecting the great things,
Right.
in my life, or the greatest things for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I'm just thrilled with the book. I'm thrilled it's in Barnes and Noble. I love doing the book signings, getting out there and meeting with people. Obviously, you can buy it, get it on Amazon as well. It's already all over the world. We're going to be starting now. The book is going to be published in Italy and in Spain. So, as I said, it's a global mission, and I'm extremely excited about the work.
Me too. Definitely gonna promote the book for you, and I want to check it out. And I'm excited because like you said, it never stops. Like self-esteem, you're not just like, oh, you're good to go. You're gonna face things, but
right.
Tools. So most definitely, I know that you've been busy today. Like I'm like peeking over my notes because I was like, I have so much to say to her. And
I'm so sorry, and thank you for working with me on that. It's been a crazy day.
Yes,
it's been great talking to you. So good talking to you.
I would love to have you back on again for like another session. Maybe even bring some guests on. They can, the one or ask questions.
Oh, I would love it. Yes. Let's get some questions answered. I'd love that.
Okay, that sounds good. So do you have any social media or anything, or people can follow you and find you? Anything?
Everywhere. It's Clarissa Burt, pretty much everywhere. Facebook is Clarissa Burt Official, and I'm not on Snapchat.
Me neither. I don't know Snapchat.
Everywhere else, though, I am.
Sounds good. Sounds good. We definitely got to bring you back in. But thank you once again, everybody. This is the great and lovely Clarissa Burt. Don't forget to pick up that amazing manual to a better life.
The Self-Esteem Regime. There you are. It is an action plan for becoming the confident person you were meant to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.